Hey, folks, welcome to Affiliate Nerd Out Real Talk Friday edition. As always, my guest, Christen Evans. What's up?
Hi,
Special guest, Nick Marchese.
interloper.
I just wanted to show up today.
I appreciate you coming in.
I'm here for the free pizza.
This is a special invite. Hopefully, you can join me next week. Kristen, I think you're out next week,
I
right?
am. I'll be recovering from Portugal, from AWIN think tank. We also have early release next week, so it would have been like a weird schedule conflict because it's one of those really fun days where Dexter's in school for 3 hours and 28 minutes,
Sure.
which
What a weird thing.
what a weird thing, right? Like he goes in at 8:15 and he's out at 11:38 in the morning.
Why even go?
I don't even
Why even
understand it.
go? That's just social
Well,
hour at that point in time.
Literally all they do is watch movies and go to recess.
yeah.
So it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Today, I wanted to warm the audience up to Nick here because it takes some warming up. So thanks for stopping by. What do we got for topics for today?
I want to talk about scope creep a little bit and
Right.
just I think one of the harder things of signing new brands, but also just like being a people pleaser who also is running an agency. It's really hard for me sometimes to stay firm to what we've outlined in the scope and not go above and beyond. But I'm not getting paid any extra to go above and beyond, and I have to pay people. And
Sure.
that's just it's always something that like I don't want to say no to people, but at the same time gotta say no sometimes. Can't really do anymore if it's not like working out for you financially. There's gonna be occasional times where it's do
Yeah.
something nice for somebody, but like every single time, if you've clearly defined the terms, it's a really good idea to stick within those boundaries. I know Nick, you and I have talked about that before too.
Yeah. We have. It's a tough topic, right? Because on one hand, especially as a young agency who's not quite the behemoths of the world, each client is
Mhm.
really important. And each client is a big part of your revenue stream. And if yeah, I almost feel like we come into this situation where if we don't accept the scope creep, are we at risk then of losing that client? And that's a tough spot to be in because you don't want to lose the client. You want the money, you need the money, but also, God, I don't do kitchen remodels and affiliate marketing at the same time.
Yeah, it's a really fine line to juggle. And I find oftentimes it is the smaller clients or the lower paying clients that are more susceptible to scope creep. And like those are the ones that I always want to help the most, but I can't. I can't always do that because I have
Right,
to pay attention to all my clients, but I also have to bring in new business. And I can't dedicate all of
right,
my hours and all of
right.
my team's hours to that, especially when it's one of the maybe lower paying, smaller clients. It really has to be proportional.
Yeah. I think the part of the reason that so obviously I don't really love scope creep. There is one part of me that doesn't mind it, and that is when they're not asking me necessarily to remodel a kitchen, but they are asking me something that kind of falls somewhat in the same. So it is quite literally the definition of
Mhm.
creep, right? It's just incrementally getting you there, only in the sense that I'm always pretty candid with my clients, and that I don't think I can do something, or I do think I can do something. I like learning new things. Don't like necessarily being taught new things to do. I like figuring it out the hard way because then it's more of a neural pathway that just
Well,
sticks there. If I can swim upstream, it's always better.
it's maybe not the best advice out there. Always going to say
Do
lean
it because
on
you're not going to be good
others
at
to
it.
help teach you in the right direction at least. And Nick, you're really good at asking me questions about things that you don't know so you can get a good starting
Yeah,
point, but I see you working on you've got to figure this out on your own. But also stay in your lane.
yeah,
If you know what you're doing and you
totally,
know what you're
totally.
good at, stay there and don't get out of your comfort zone unless you have to or you really want to, I say.
Yeah, for sure.
Big topic for me. Anything you want to talk about, Nick?
No, I think for me, I'm chugging along, having a good time. I think for me, the big topic point would be the ebb and flow of client retention is always a fun, stressful topic. And I think that segues well from the client scope because again, like you're always at that risk of are you Do you have client retention? Do you don't? And as a small business, is forecasting revenue ultra important? How much time do you dedicate as a young agency to business development? And then also the other part that I'm struggling with right now is at what point in time do you just stand firm on your pricing and
Hmm.
not
Yeah.
negotiate?
And you're such a
Like it's
negotiator.
been a topic
Like,
of conversation.
you love to negotiate.
It's funny. I love it, but I'm so bad at it. I My this is an unnecessary anecdote that I shouldn't share, but I will. But we bought a car many years ago, and the way I negotiated was, I think if you go to the textbook of and try and learn what not to do, the way I went about it was exactly that. And even my wife, who is not a negotiator, just kind of looked at me as we're in the dealership, just being like, "Shut up, just stop talking."
So you paid over asking price.
What if we add $5,000 to the invoice?
Uh,
You love to make things hard on yourself, don't you?
I do. Look, anyone can do things the easy way. Not many people can do things the hard way.
amazing. Evans, I love your nails. You get
Thank
them ready
you.
for they're so you. Ready
They
for
actually,
festival.
they're literally my colors that are back here and the
Yeah.
ones that are on my brand deck. And then they've got,
Are they in
yeah,
order
well, of
too?
course,
Royce
yeah.
Biv?
And then the base is
No.
like sparkly gold.
Yeah.
So it's very me.
Wait, show them again. Let me see them. Wow, that looks
They're really good.
intense.
I actually had to get, you guys are going
Yeah.
to laugh at me, but I had to get like a silicone cover for my keyboard so that I could type with them because there's.
I would have never known. Where'd you buy them
But
from? Throw the plug
the
in.
cover came from Amazon, of course. Dustin, I'll send you the link.
Okay.
The nails came from my nail place up in Folsom. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, getting ready. My flight leaves at 11 tomorrow. So got my
Cool.
tripod and a little tiny, I love this thing, a little tiny white noise machine.
Very
Because I have
nice.
such a hard time sleeping
Yeah.
in hotels, and I usually use my phone, but then my phone doesn't charge properly. So I got this bad guy.
Oh,
Tell us
yeah.
about how it works.
It just literally has a button on it. But yeah, and then it has the white noise that comes out, and it's just the same color, same sound.
Cool.
You can't adjust the sound, but it's got volume, and it's charges with a USB-C, so it's super easy. Yeah,
Yeah,
pumped
nice.
about that. Tripod, I'm pumped about. I got my microphones too, which are right here.
Great.
All bought with Dustin's affiliate link.
My way. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a double disclaimer
Raking
right
in those
there.
pennies. Give it to me. Boom.
I'm going to try to do carry-on only for this trip, which is wild for me because I don't often do that. I'm very happy to check a bag and not deal with any baggage, quite literally. But I'm going to try to do carry-on only with my roller suitcase, and I have a backpack. I also bought a weighted hoodie that's 10 pounds.
Has
It
45
doesn't, but
pockets.
it is a hefty bee. So I'm excited to see if that helps me sleep on the plane because I notoriously don't sleep well on planes. Yeah.
Yeah. How long are you there for? Are you going to stay afterwards?
No,
to
I don't really
enjoy
have
Portugal?
time. Mark's got to get back to his work schedule, but I land Sunday and I'm hoping to do some jet lag recovery, either poolside or beachside Sunday. And then the first event's not until Monday evening. There's the welcome party, poolside welcome party. So I have a solid 24 to recover and get my legs under me. I think so. When I went to Paris, both when I went to Paris and went to China, like I was sick, like physically ill for the first day that I was there, just because, again, I don't sleep well on planes. And then I'm also a little bit boozy, shocking exactly nobody. Weird. But my flight is from Sacramento to San Francisco, which always cracks me up because it's like you could walk there, right? Sacramento to San Francisco, and then San Francisco to Frankfurt, Germany, and then Frankfurt to Portugal. So we'll see what happens.
How long is that? Is that San Francisco or Sacramento to
12 minutes?
to Frankfurt?
Let's see. San Francisco to Frankfurt. Give me a second to look it up. It's long. I want to say it's 11 hours.
Nice.
I was originally supposed to go Sacramento to Newark to Faro, but then Newarked. And so I changed everything because it just is such a mess right now. But yeah, I can check in. Yay.
Oh, yeah, it's tomorrow. Good luck. Good luck in your journey there,
Thank you. I'm
and go
excited.
get them on that topic that you're speaking about. What is that again?
It's the state of affiliate today. So it's myself, Kevin from the APMA, which is the like UK version of the PMA. So I'm going to represent the Performance Marketing Association, and then somebody who represents a trade body in Germany. And then there's also an attorney, who's attorney actually, who is a part of the APMA, is going to be on the panel as well.
Oh.
So I think it'll be a really good conversation where I know that Kevin's unveiling some of the information he just did for the APMA survey. And I have a couple tidbits, like early release tidbits from the PMA's industry survey. It'll be a good conversation, but we only have 25 minutes between four of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I could take up all.
It's a lot of heavy hitting big words to squeeze
No
into
kidding.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
awesome.
pumped. So, yeah, it'll be super fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. What did you want to talk about this week, Dustin?
A bit of a weird one, and definitely a change in the vibe here, but I had a friend of mine from college drink himself to death, and like I've been having to work through that this week, and that's never fun, but it also emphasizes the portion of life of work is a headache sometimes, and it's really hard, and sometimes we might get stuck in this feeling like we can't escape, and I feel that sometimes too. Like being an entrepreneur, some months are better than others. Sometimes you fall behind. And I just want to emphasize the fact of going to get help is never a sign of weakness. Like, go tell your friends about how you're feeling. Go tell your people around you that care about you and get that help that you need. I feel like as agency owners, you guys probably go through some of these ups and downs as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. First off, sorry to hear that, man. That's rough. It's never easy. To your point, though, especially as as an agency owner or an entrepreneur, but even just as a human, mental health is so important. I remember back in the day, it wasn't like. I don't know if you guys have seen the Bill Burr stand-up skit where he talks about as men, you're allowed to have two statuses, fine or mad, and that's it. Everything else is not real. And of course, he's making fun of the concept of being like the stereotypical man and not having emotions. But man, stress is real, mental health is real, and it's so important. Even for myself, I'm talking to a therapist all the time, and I use you guys as my therapist. And when it's sometimes you have a spouse and you have friends, and even that isn't necessarily enough, and you just need to
For
get that
sure.
outside perspective of someone that doesn't know you from when you were in college or
Yeah,
whatever it may be. But yeah, to anyone who is listening and everyone who is listening, doesn't hurt, man. Even if you think that your mental health is great,
for
still
sure.
just talk to someone, man. Just go out, socialize, and talk to a therapist if you need, even if you don't need to, because we're all a
How,
little, especially the two of you both. So
hey, Pat, my name's Kettle. Want to discuss?
Yeah, fair but accurate.
yeah,
It's
very true. But yeah,
yeah.
it's rough. I'm sorry to hear that.
I think mental health, and we do, like the three of us talk about this with frequency. And to your point, Nick, like we do often come to each other with things that we need to talk about. And Nick, like you and I have talked through a lot of things that have been really difficult for me in my career, and amazingly, like you've been supportive and stuff. But it's really important to talk to people. It's really important to know that people care about you too. I think that sometimes when people get in that particular situation, they think it's better if they just weren't around, or they are too afraid to be a burden on somebody. And the thing that I can definitively say, having had people in my life do that as well, is that it is more of a burden having you gone than it would ever be for
Totally.
you to still be alive. That's it, having somebody gone is always more of a burden. My mom was one of those people. She drank herself to death, and this week was the 15-year anniversary of her passing. And we didn't have a great relationship, and a lot of it was because of her habits and all of that. And it's hard, but it is more of a burden to have my child will never know his grandmother. And that's weird. That's
Right.
hard. And trying to describe somebody to him, just trying to describe her to him is, I shouldn't have to do that. She should be around to see him and stuff. And yeah, that's really sad. And it is just a good reminder that you're less of a burden alive than you would be dead. period.
Great call. And I've got into those low points in my life where, I had those dark thoughts come through, and talking to friends like you always helps me dig my way out of that. So I want to thank you guys for being there for me as friends, and also emphasize, go get some help online. There are like BetterHelp, for example. I don't have an affiliate link here, but BetterHelp is a great solution I've used in the past, and I need to get back into it because just retune. All right, enough said on that. Before we go, though, I do want to share my screen and share something that I'm working on, just to go out on a high level here and a fun level as usual here. So I'm a big fan of Artflow, and you guys consistently make fun of AI, like creating images of me and giving me too many fingers and such. But today I'm trying to get this shot. My script is like candid shot of me offering assistance in the office with a warm smile, exuding approachability and competence. And this is going to be a blog post addition here. But as I look at these photos, I thought it was really interesting. They're all very close, right? But all of them have a little something wrong with the hands. This one,
It's always the hands.
this guy's face in particular really has like psychopath feel
A
to
little
it.
bit. Like,
Yeah, he's way
Yeah,
happier
yeah.
than
that guy's been working on his pecs.
For
He's
sure. And I'm
he's
not
done a
this
good job.
guy. I'm not a sweater over my shirt guy, right? That's not me. And then this guy, I don't know why I'm questioning myself and why Pac-Man is like attacking me, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
what
I
is
don't
that
have any
Pac-Man all
idea what
about?
that could possibly be. But
Can you go back to
Preppy
Preppy
Dustin,
Dustin
We
sure.
were
on the
all
right?
kind of interested.
Yeah. Wow, look at that. Okay, it's a cool tool. What's over on the right
Oh,
though,
this,
far right,
this is like my
these small
library
ones?
of awful, like
Hold on. Zoom, zoom,
all right,
enhance,
we'll check out this
enhance.
one. This one I was asking to
Yes,
be in a
that's
clipboard,
Dustin.
and like,
No.
look at this one. Look at this one.
Oh,
That's
that's the one?
That
Really,
the
that's the one that
one.
you're going
That's the
to
one. But
emphasize.
for whatever reason, they put this Adonis behind me. I didn't ask to put like a naked model behind me. It has a mind of
uh-huh.
its own.
And
AI.
yet it knows your
Yeah.
algorithm so well that it knows how to make you
I love
satisfied.
this guy's outfit as well. I'm a colonial.
What are you underwater here?
I don't know. I could have gone for this one.
Well, no, this is the selfie. This is like the source image, right? This is the one that
And
you took of yourself
I'll tell you,
to
the
create the other
prompt
images.
says nothing about give me giant pecs and take my shirt off. It has nothing of that. It's just this is what we're gonna do.
It's taking artistic liberties.
Yeah. So, so
Wow.
there's
I
some flaws in the methodology, but
I
overall it's
don't
a
know if
good
I'd say
time. I don't know why I'm in a
flaws.
sausage
Oh,
making factory here when I asked.
don't you though?
Oh my
Uh,
god.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, thought I'd share that.
Wow. Is that two of you then?
It is two of me. Yeah,
That's a lot of
No,
Dustins.
too many
that's a lot
Dustins.
of Dustins. It's a lot of skin, artificial intelligence skin that I really didn't care to see either.
He's gonna go like over inside his
Having a
eyes
nightmare.
with
Speaking of
acid
mental
now.
health,
Good for you guys. I'm glad we shared all of that. Thanks for coming in and making fun of me as usual. I appreciate it. And thanks again for being here, friends.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
All right.
anytime,
All
man.
right.
Thank you
Nick,
for
I'll see
having
you
us.
next week. Kristen, have a good time out there.
I will.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Keep on
Yes.
recruiting. Later.